Hi everyone, it's me, Martin. We've met, or at least most of us. I'm going to do a little chat about machine shop safety and where it differs from sort of your general workshop safety briefing that you will have had last year. Obviously, everything's had to move online this year. Got quite a bit to get through, so I'll try and run through it as swiftly as I can. So, as you know, safety is our priority and should be yours. If it's not, then we have a problem. And to do with safety, pretty much every company is going to have risk assessments and normal or standard operating procedures, NOPs or SOPs, in place to address whatever hazards there may be. A hazard itself, as you probably know, is defined as something that's got the potential to cause harm, and the risk is the likelihood of that happening. And given the hazard and the risk, you can then form your NOP, which has got working practices to mitigate any problems. You'll all know about the PPE requirements by now, surely. It's a boiler suit or lab coat, some safety specs, some work boots. That's at minimum. But in the machine shop, as opposed to the workshop, there's a couple of extra considerations. Because the machines are, large rotating machinery, you're not going to want to have anything loose to get caught in the machines. So if you have long hair, three options, I suppose. You can tie it back, but tie it back tight, or you can wear a very attractive hairnet, or even more attractive, get a haircut like mine. That's hair. If you've got like jewelry, dangly jewelry, just remove it. It's the easiest way to do it. And your clothes, your boiler suit, I suppose, or lab coat should be tight fitting. If it's not, probably best to just sort of roll it up past your elbows, and that way there's nothing dangling. If it dangles, then tie it up. Basically, that's the way. The machines themselves, we've got lathes, we've got milling machines, and we've got pillar drills. Basically, the main three you'll be using. Hopefully, we don't know about who's using what when. Obviously, there's COVID. They should only be operated by one person at a time. And as such, there are markings around the machines into which only one person can go at a time. Hope that makes sense. The tools in the machines are obviously very sharp. So walking being the key word there, walking around the workshop with the tools, you want to just have them pointing downwards, put them in your pocket, sharp end pointing down, and walk to your machine. Then you can set up, and that stops any potential hazards. The piece that you're working on as well, it can be sharp, whether you've machined it or whether you've just cut it. If it's a piece of aluminium you've just cut from a block, it's going to have sharp edges. And if you've machined it down to size, it's going to have sharp edges. So deburring is key. You know how to deburr with a file. We did plenty of that last year. There's also like little deburring tools and stuff you can use as well. Once all that's there, everything's secure. You've got your tools, you've set them up, you've got your component, it's secured in the machine. You're then ready to start machining, right? So there's guards in place. All the guards on the machines that you'll be using are interlocked, i.e. the machine will not switch on if the guard is open, and the machine will switch off as you open the guard. So yeah, the key is set it up, get your guard closed, make sure there's no detritus flying around, there's no extra people, you're sort of safe from what's happening, and then you can switch it on. Also be sure that you're not going to have to go away. If you have a job and you're like, oh no, I need a different tool, or I've broken this tool, I need something else, you can't leave the machine running. So if you do get in that situation, the machine obviously must be switched off and stopped before you leave it. Best thing is to be prepared, have everything there before you start. And then there's the running machine part, which isn't part of the safety briefing. There's plenty of information on running machines coming to you on YouTube and other videos. So that's that, and you'll have technicians kicking about to help you. So once you're finished machining your part, you need to clean it down, clean down the machine, clean down your component. So once the machine, you switch it off, wait till the spindle has stopped turning completely before you open the guard. Again, should be fairly obvious why. It's important to point that out because people are in a rush, or they're lazy, or something, you're just not concentrating 100%. Treat it as rule 1, machine off before, the spindle stopped before you open the guard. Then you clean down. So yeah, make sure everything's stopped. You've got brakes on these machines as well, so you cut the power, either stamp or pull on the brake, make sure the spindle's stopped, open the guard, and then you can remove your component, deburr it, clean down the machine. What you may end up with after cleaning is like oily rags or bits of chemicals on rags and stuff. Clearly that shouldn't be disposed of in a normal bin. It shouldn't be disposed of in a bin that's either the bin is flammable or it contains flammable material. So we need to dispose of it properly. There are like metal buckets and stuff. If you're in doubt, just ask one of the technicians. We'll point you in direction, or most likely we'll just take it off you and dispose of it ourselves. So that's kind of your processes. In terms of accidents, please remember they are accidents, as opposed to somebody deliberately doing something that's bad practice, and that basically means you're going to be ejected from the workshop, or whoever does it, not you. Accidents are accidents. They do happen. What generally happens with accidents, they're logged, and we review the risk assessment based on what accident it is. If we've already mitigated it to the best, to a reasonable extent, that'll be fine. If there's another process we can put in place to further mitigate the risks, then that's what we'll do. It's that, or annually. That's when your risk assessments are reviewed, standard practice across most of the world. Anything that does happen, please tell us. If you just nick your finger a little bit, tell us, because otherwise how are we going to know? Bash your knee, tell us. How else are we going to know? We need to know everything that happens in our machine shop for everybody's safety. It's super important. The only other thing regarding safety that I haven't yet covered, you'll be sick to death of hearing about it. Somebody said there was a pandemic or something going on at the moment. Basically, you need to wash your hands. You need to wear a mask. You need to stay a reasonable distance from each other. Those practices will be necessary in the university possibly for the foreseeable, but certainly for the first semester anyway. So yeah, follow those guidelines too. I'm not going to be the only one telling you this. Everyone's telling you this. Just pay attention, eh? That's pretty much it. I've managed to fire through that pretty well. I'll maybe see you this semester. If not, enjoy your online study. See you soon. Cheers.